The government says it wants to make work pay, incentivising those who are unemployed to rejoin the labour market by removing job insecurity and low pay.
The new Work and Pension Secretary, Liz Kendall, will set out her plans later to improve employment opportunities across the country. And she joins us now on BBC Breakfast. Good morning to you. So many people watching right now will be affected by benefits, by pensions. So many questions for you in your new job. Can we start with the two-child benefit cap, which is where parents can't claim universal credit or child tax credits if they have more than two children. You in Labour have said you would like to get rid of it. I know you say you can't afford to do that right now, but can you give parents a timetable, a timescale about when you hope to get rid of it by?
Well, look, tackling child poverty is a priority for the government and a personal priority for me and the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson. I'm very proud of the track record of the last Labour government, which lifted over 500,000 children out of poverty. And I think the contrast with the Conservatives, where we saw 700,000 more children in poverty, that couldn't be greater. So that's a really big challenge. We can't solve it overnight, but we have taken immediate action. Within my first week in office, I called in child poverty experts and campaigners, and the Prime Minister launched a really bold new cross-government ministerial task force and a new child poverty unit within the Cabinet Office. The work is underway. We're determined to take action because child poverty blights families' lives now and risks their future life chances. That's not good enough for them, and it's not good enough for our country.
So a timescale?
Well, we'll be setting out more details about the work of the task force and the timetable for action in the coming weeks. We will be talking to people across the country, including the families and children who've been affected by themselves. Look, there are so many huge challenges that we have inherited from the Tories. Not just child poverty, but the issues I'm raising today about the record numbers of people locked out of work due to poor health, the fact that 1 in 8 of our young people are not in education, employment or training, that people are trapped in low-paid, insecure work. You'll know that actually 70% of children growing up in poverty are in a household where somebody works. So we need to help people not just get into work, but get on in work. We are saying today we have a bold ambition to get an 80% employment rate in this country. And evidence suggests that that would, if we looked at that now, that would mean 2 million more people in work, creating over £20 billion in terms of growth for our country and £8 billion that we could put into our public services.
Okay, but
my department is the HR department of the government's growth mission, and that is what we are going to focus on.
OK, but can we just get some clarity on the two-child benefit cap? Because, as you said, it was a Conservative policy. The Conservatives introduced it.
We voted against, we voted against.
OK, but now the Conservatives' own MP, Suella Braverman, she says you should get rid of it. Nigel Farage's Reform UK says you should get rid of it.
Considering she's been part of a government for 14 years that's actually plunged children into poverty. So forgive me for not taking her word on this.
Nigel Farage at Reform UK says get rid of it. The Lib Dems say get rid of it. The SNP say get rid of it. Some of your own MPs are prepared to put forward an amendment saying get rid of it. And let's be clear, you are choosing not to get rid of it. This is a political choice. If you wanted to prioritise it and get rid of the two-child benefit cap, you could right now.
It is a political choice to prioritise driving down child poverty and driving up opportunity. Look, I don't need anyone telling me about the impact that child poverty has. I've got a third of children in my city, in Leicester, growing up poor. I've chaired Feeding Leicester, the programme to end hunger in my city. But I've also seen people dying, waiting for NHS treatment, and my council budget cut by a third. The appalling state of housing in this country, millions of people written off who want to work and who could work, but have been denied support and then blamed for the position they are in. We face a dire inheritance from this government. We can't change it all overnight, but we've rolled up our sleeves and we've taken action, including the start of this work to drive down child poverty in our country. We are absolutely determined to make a huge difference here, because it's not just an issue for children and families now, it harms the future chances of their aspirations and the country as a whole. We will act, and we will always show, if we make a commitment, how we will spend for it. And that's the absolute focus of this government.
You've got a huge budget in your department, haven't you? The social security spending is over £300 billion for the year ahead. But I noticed that it's due to be about £1.5 billion lower than was expected in the autumn statement last year. I just wonder, does that £1.5 billion give you some money that would allow you to do what you say you want to do on the two-child benefit cap? Could you put that towards making it happen now?
Well, just to be clear for your viewers, around half of that is on pensions, and that is absolutely right, because our pensioners deserve security and dignity in retirement after they've worked hard and contributed and saved all their lives. Look, I want to make sure that we actually get more people into work and on in their work. This huge problem of 2.8 million people, a record number, trapped out of work due to long-term sickness. There's really clear evidence that most of those, actually, if they got the right help and support, skills, childcare and other help, actually want to have a job at some point now or in future. Whereas the Conservatives wrote people off, denied them the support that they need, and then blamed them for the position they're in, this government will act. We want to overhaul our job centres to make sure they help people actually get work and get on in work. We'll deliver a new youth guarantee to make sure every young person is earning or learning. You know, we've got 1 in 8 young people who aren't earning or learning at the moment, and that's not good enough. And we want to push down power to local mayors and local areas with new work, health and skills plans, joining up that support linked to local growth, because the man or even woman in Whitehall can never know what's best in Leicester, Liverpool or Lowestoft. We want to give those local areas the power to really make a difference, grow jobs, get people back into work and on in their work. That, I think, is the key to changing the aspirations and hopes of people across the country, but also driving our growth mission, which is the only way we're going to get that money to put back into people's pockets and transform our public services.
You mentioned the woman in Whitehall. Can we talk about WASPI women, the so-called WASPI women, Women Against State Pension Inequality group? They have been campaigning for some time for a streamlined, a simple compensation system. You in the past have said that you would like to help them. Will you?
Well, this, I'm afraid, is yet another problem that the Conservatives shamefully ran away from. This issue has been going on for years. It is a serious report has been produced by the Ombudsman. It requires serious consideration, and we are going through all of the details of that at the moment. We will continue to engage with the WASPI women and campaigners. That's something that the Minister for Pensions will be working on. But we are determined to deal with these problems, not run away from them, and leave us to deal with the mess that the Conservatives have left. And we will take action and set out our plans as soon as possible.
OK, overpaid carers, another issue that our viewers have talked to us a lot about.
You're listing all the problems they left us with, and it's really serious.
OK, but now you've got the job, you're in government. For how long can you keep blaming the Conservatives and saying we'll get there in time?
After 14 years of this government, the last government, it will take time for us to turn this around. On carers, you know, I have long argued that carers are the unsung heroes and heroines of this country, giving their all to look after the person that they love. And I have asked officials to provide urgent information about what has happened and what went wrong, so we can put it right and make sure this never ever happens again. I know that carers are really pushed to breaking point. We need to resolve this problem. I've demanded action from the department, and we'll be coming forward with more information soon.
2 weeks after the election, 2 weeks in your job, I'm sensing you're really frustrated.
Well, I'm impatient, that is for sure. I am frustrated, though, that having had the privilege of being in government, the Tories have left this country in such a mess. They pushed all the problems onto us, they've run away, but we will take action. We are determined to have serious plans so that we can show people that if we make a promise, we will deliver it. We want to drive up that opportunity, help people work, get on in their work, drive down poverty.
Okay.
There is a big job, but I know we can make a difference.
Liz Kendall, we will speak again. Thank you for now.
I'm sure we will.